Alone in the wilderness, surrounded by towering pines and jagged peaks, I ventured forth into the heart of the mountains. The crisp air filled my lungs as I embarked on what I thought would be a soul-reviving journey. Little did I know, I was about to descend into a nightmare from which there might be no awakening. The trail wound its way through dense forest, the canopy overhead blocking out much of the sunlight. Every step seemed to echo in the silence, a reminder of my solitude in this vast expanse of wilderness. Despite the unease creeping into my bones, I pressed on, driven by a desire to conquer the unknown. As dusk began to settle, I found myself at the base of a steep incline. With each passing moment, the shadows grew longer, casting an eerie pall over the landscape. Ignoring the warning signs that screamed at me to turn back, I pushed forward, determined to reach the summit before nightfall. The path grew steeper, the rocks more treacherous beneath my boots. Sweat mingled with the chill of the evening air as I climbed ever higher, my heart pounding in my chest like a drumbeat of impending doom. And then, just as the last light of day began to fade, I stumbled upon a clearing at the peak of the mountain. Relief flooded through me as I collapsed onto the ground, my breath coming in ragged gasps. But my respite was short-lived, for as I looked out over the valley below, I realized with a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that I was hopelessly lost. The landmarks I had relied upon to guide me had vanished into the encroaching darkness, leaving me stranded in this desolate wilderness. Panic clawed at the edges of my mind as I scrambled to regain my bearings, but the harder I tried, the more disoriented I became. And then, just when I thought things couldn't possibly get any worse, I heard it. A low, guttural growl emanating from the shadows beyond the tree line. My blood turned to ice as I strained to see what lurked in the darkness, but all I could make out were two burning eyes, glowing like hot coals in the blackness. Terror gripped me in its icy embrace as I realized that I was not alone on this mountain, that there was something out there, something hungry, something inhuman. With trembling hands, I reached for the flashlight strapped to my pack, my fingers fumbling with the switch as I desperately tried to illuminate the source of my fear. And then, with a click, the beam pierced the darkness, revealing a sight that would haunt my nightmares for the rest of my days. Standing before me was a creature straight out of the darkest corners of myth and legend, its twisted form silhouetted against the night sky. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly hunger as it bared its jagged teeth in a silent snarl, its breath coming in ragged, guttural gasps. I was rooted to the spot, unable to tear my gaze away from the abomination before me. And then, as if sensing my fear, it lunged forward, its claws slashing through the air with deadly precision. I screamed as pain lanced through me, the world spinning as I tumbled backwards into oblivion. When I awoke, it was to the harsh light of dawn filtering through the trees above. My body ached with a pain that seemed to seep into my very bones, but as I struggled to my feet, I realized with a sickening sense of dread that I was not alone. The creature was nowhere to be seen, but its presence lingered in the air like a foul stench. And as I stumbled back down the trail, haunted by the memories of that fateful night, I knew that I would never truly escape the horror that had befallen me on that cursed mountain.